It's been really bad. Honestly though, dude, like they're starting to become the team that they weren't. That the reason that I love them so much, they're starting to become the team. Like they're starting to strike out. They're not putting the ball in play, which takes away them not being able to steal bases. I mean, so all the reasons that you love that team are kind of null and void if you're not hitting or at least making contact.
Yeah. All right. I did a little sneak. We are live.
What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody. I was actually trying to find those left-handed numbers. I thought I had them really close to me with Cleveland, but they're not playing tonight, so it doesn't really matter. Good morning to everybody. It's morning here in Alaska. I know it's probably afternoon for a lot of you people, but it is bright and early, 8:30 a.m. here on the best coast, the West Coast. I say that because the East Coast still hasn't understood or figured out that we do have retractable roofs on the West Coast. You're more than welcome to use them or build them. So we wouldn't have to deal with rained out Yankee games like we are today. But it is what it is. I guess you guys just like living in, I don't know, the 1600s, it feels like. I just don't understand it. I'll never understand it. But it is what it is. We do have one game to talk about. Playoffs have been going pretty damn well. I apologize for not having a video yesterday. We had a little bit of issues with the internet up here in Alaska. So we just decided to scrap that. I did do a Spaces, though. I try to give you guys at least a little bit of something if we can. But yeah, Phillies dropped it. So now everybody that's been dying to betting the Braves finally has one. So irritating. Phillies, Harper had a leadoff double in the second. He couldn't get it done, and that was kind of almost it for them. But two balls that didn't leave the infield for the Phillies, and that's how they scored their 2 runs. Again, the Braves are probably a better team, but I do think that the Phillies still have a very good chance. And keep in mind, I mean, we have a huge plus price on them to win the series too. So to have them at such a huge plus price, to have them play like they did game 1 and then to come out the next day like that. I don't want to say it has anything to do with the weather but maybe it did, but neither team had it. Can't make those mistakes, Reese. Cannot make those mistakes, but it is what it is. How about them Padres? I told you I'm not that crazy. I'm not crazy. I said it on Spaces yesterday. I didn't think the loss in game 1 was as bad as everybody made it out to be. I think that was Mike Clevenger not being able to, he wasn't ready for the moment. He was not ready for the moment. It got to him. The Dodgers got to him. But as soon as he was out of the game, it was a completely different ball game. And again, we saw it last night. Like I told you guys in the playoff preview, this Padres bullpen is different. They're legit. Suarez is throwing 101 with ease. You cannot touch Hader right now. Did you see what Josh Hader did? Josh Hader doesn't do 4-out closes. That's not what he does. So what did he do last night in LA? Not only got 4 outs, but he got it with Betts, Freeman, and Turner as well. There's no way in hell you can convince me that this Dodgers team's got to be kind of a little bit worried in a way because they don't have a bullpen. And I told you guys going into this, I wasn't betting against the Dodgers because I was trying to sound cool. I was betting against the Dodgers because I didn't trust their pitching. It was never about the hitting. It was always about the pitching. I was never worried about Clayton Kershaw. Can they still win this series in the World Series? Absolutely. But my point is that I'm not laying favorite odds or stuff like that with a team that I don't have a good pitching staff with. So it is what it is. Let's get into the day's game. Mariners and the bad guys. We lost our first bet in this series. I had the Astros money line and the under, and obviously the under was blown up very fast. Astros did finally come back and win that game. I told you I picked the Astros to win the World Series, and Yordan Alvarez would be that MVP. He's making his way. Huge game in the game 1, fueled by that walk-off 3-run homer that we have never seen happen in the Major League playoffs. So that's just crazy to think of. Today on the bump, again, same type of scenarios as yesterday. If you go down 2-0 in these best of 5, even though the Seattle's going home for 2 games, it can get a little bit dicey. So Castillo on the mound for Seattle, and my boy Framber on the bump for Houston, let's just take a look at Castillo because he's the dog, and that's the teams that I always want to look at first. Dominant. Absolutely dominant. His last start in Toronto, dominant performance again with them. He's really been untouchable. And then you flip it over to Frambar, who hasn't really been the same guy. Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Oakland all scored some runs on him. He had that quality start streak go so long. But you're going to hear some people talk about what Frambar did last year in the playoffs. He got roughed up by a couple of good teams at certain points, but he also came back and just absolutely shoved as well. So it's really hard for me to look at that and think that he's not going to be able to pitch well today. I think that we have an absolute pitching duel here today. So 2 bets in this game, under 7. -120 for 0.75 units, no question about it. After all those runs that we saw in game run, I think that we sit back and see an absolute pitching duel here. I don't really like playing unders here in this juice box, but at the same time, with these 2 pitchers, I think that, like I said, and after all the runs we saw the other day, I definitely think that we see an under here today. And then I'm also going to take a stab at the Mariners. Mariners money line +135 for a half a unit. Don't like betting against the team that I said that would go to the World Series, but if you're going to give me Castillo in the 130s, I really have to take it. As much as I love Frambar, he doesn't scare me that much. And like I said, I really think this is like a 2-3, 4-2 type of game. I don't think that we see more than 6 runs. Again, I could be very wrong. It is the juice box in Houston. So if you want to know why we call it the juice box, it's Minute Maid Park. They make juice small, like a juice box. That's how you get juice box. Anyway, like I said, it doesn't. People ask, Beaver. People keep on asking, so I figured I would let them know.
Okay, good.
So anyway, but yeah, I'm all over the Mariners today at the plus price. It's only a half a unit, but like I said, it's a nice plus price. The under's probably the more preferable play for me. But I am going to take a stab, and it will be on the VIP when I send it out in the next 20 minutes for the Mariners on that money line. I just don't think. First of all, they said they made it clear that they were going to use Robbie Ray in that situation if it came about. I don't think that they have that same plan going into today. So regardless, I think that Castillo gives them enough length, and you have guys like Munoz and Seawald and whatnot and Brash. That should be able to get, and Castillo as well, that should be able to piece together enough time. They're going to have a day off tomorrow. Like I said, I think this is too big of a price to pass up with the Mariners in a game that I definitely think stays under the total. All right. The next game was the Yankees and the Guardians, but like I said, it's been canceled. I can tell you right now, I was leaning the Yankees at the price. I said last night on Twitter that price-wise, definitely leaning Yankees, and it really hasn't moved at all. I don't really look at the money as far as in the postseason to a point, I guess. And the only reason I say that is because there's been a couple. There's been some heavy sides this week, and a lot of them have won too. So, but either way, Bieber has been really good, but Cortez has been even better. Beaver would want me to tell you that Cleveland has a really bad spot on the road versus left-handed pitching. They've seen Cortez a couple times this year already. They haven't done much. They haven't scored more than they've scored 4 runs total in their 4 games this playoffs or whatever it is. So not to mention they had 6 extra innings, so it looks even worse. So small lean on the Yankees. I mean, again, it's not like a hammerhead lock or anything like that. I do think that Cleveland's going to probably take one game. This could be one of them, but I think your best bet is to probably take the Yankees tomorrow. Hopefully they win, go 2-0 back to Cleveland. Hopefully we get an early start with McKenzie on the mound with a nice plus price with the Guardians there. So, but yeah, Yankees today, probably Guardians game 3 with McKenzie on the mound to save their life. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it for me today. That's quick stuff. I can tell you guys right now, or whatever it is, Friday, would it be? Definitely leaning the Padres. Look, the books are starting to respect the Padres too. That's plus 105 right now. I would assume that the Dodgers are going to take money, but I guess I can't be sure. They do have the rent payer on the mound, Tony Gonsolin, but I assume that a lot of people are going to take cheap price on the Dodgers, which is hopefully runs that Padres price just a little bit more. So, definitely lean to the Padres at plus money on Friday as well, with Snell on the bump. So we're going to shock the world, baby. We're going to shock the world, Phillies and Padres. So that's it for me today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Check out Sauce's Thursday Night Football video. He's got a video up for the Commanders game and Bears. Besides that, I will see you guys later. I'll talk to you guys on Twitter.
Eat, love,